Okay. Long day. About to get even longer. We're back at it. And I am keen to move this project forward some way, somehow. What did I get to last time? So, last time I was mucking around with this, I had to do a bunch of maintenance. I had to repair the servos that were driving these eyelids. I had to extend the compound action code. I had to repair the PWM board that drives his servos. I had to muck around with a bunch of different things. Mostly because I stuffed up to begin with. I sort of specified incorrect end stops in software, which meant that the servos were being told to move to locations that would collide with one another, which obviously isn't great. So we should have avoided doing that now, the latest version of the code. But we do have a slightly different problem. And that problem is Wheatley has an outer shell that's meant to be able to move a little bit like this. And whoopsie daisies. That outer shell isn't quite rigid enough. Basically, the servo that drives it only moves it on one side, which causes this side to tilt, but not the other side. So this needs to be made more rigid. I'm wondering if there's a way. Okay. Let's break down a plan. Let's start every session with a la plan. One second. That should be better. So we're going to start with a plan. Where is le plan? We can do it with it. Here it is. Cool. So if I follow these mad sort of musings all the way down. All the way down. We did this thing, which was kind of cool. This actually ended up working, which I'm very happy with. We said that we were going to do a La Plan 5. And I kind of partially mocked out what that would involve. So there's Le Plan 4, Le Plan 5. So add more motion by default. That's definitely something that I want to do. I think that at the moment there are 4 servos inside Wheatley's head that aren't actively being used to move the model. And that's because of mechanical friction. So there's a whole bunch of components that are grating against the inner shell and the outer shell, which means that when those servos try to move, they're constantly impeded by the things that they're pushing. To a degree that I'm probably not going to be able to use all of them with the current implementation. So there's going to be a line where I think it's no longer worth my time to try to bring extra servos online and used as part of the emoting code. I think the majority of the emoting is going to be the flickering of the eye and Wheatley sort of looking around and blinking. I think that's going to be the bulk of his action. That said, though, I'm hoping to add a 9th servo, which will help Wheatley tilt more aggressively side to side, and add just a little bit more dynamism to the way that he emotes. And the way that I'm hoping to do that is pretty straightforward and simple. It mostly involves another one of these hobby servos, except this beefy thing claims that it can move 55 kilos. How true that is? Press X to doubt. I think I'm not so sure that I trust that this can actually move 55 kilos. I don't think I could lift a 55 kilo dumbbell, and this thing is claiming that it can move that. So, yeah, not so sure about that. Or rather, what torque they used to, what distance from the rotor they measured that weight from. How much torque was it really experiencing? So the idea is Wheatley currently has at the back of him, if you take a look at his dangling wires of shame that are coming out the back here, he has a mounting plate that fixes to the back of him. And the idea is I need to design a part that's going to go in between Wheatley and the back plate where this thing can go, so that this thing can sit behind Wheatley and sort of socket into the back and tilt him left and right as needed. And there's a bit of, because this is quite a heavy thing to hold up, I'm going to have to think a little bit carefully about how I support the whole construction to, well, securely dock to the back of Wheatley, but also not put too much axial load on this little servo. I think there's a certain point where if I don't do this correctly, Wheatley's just going to fall off the front of this. So I'm going to have to think about how to secure them all together. Thankfully, I have some basic measurements, and we might be able to get something beginning to print tonight, just as like a test thing. So let's do that actually, just quickly. I've got to prep the printer. Main screen turn on. It's doubling up. So we've got our printer here. I'm gonna leave it like that because like you can still see it in the top right. So the first thing we're gonna do is just get it to calibrate itself, and then I will hopefully more DACA. Okay, so that's going to be calibrating. The next thing I need to do is, let's see, gotta bring the temperature up. So thankfully it's getting a little bit warmer in Australia, which means I'm probably not going to have to fight the outdoor cold as much as I have been for the last few weeks. I can already see there's a little internal temperature sensor there. You might be able to see it called EBB NTC. And that's the temperature sensor that we're using to basically gauge the chamber temp. Obviously knowing that the actual chamber temp will be quite a few degrees below that. So once that hits 50, we assume that we're sort of warm enough to get started printing. And I think that's a fair assessment, because that is sitting right behind a fan, and combined with the airflow and the general chamber temp, the chamber itself should be around about 40, low 40s by the time that happens. So we're setting this up. Actually, I better set this to 100 degrees because all of the heat in this chamber is coming from the bed. That reminds me, I should probably print one of those little heater fans. There's like a little blower fan that you can hook up underneath the bed that circulates air. It really helps your temps. And some people even go for auxiliary heaters. Okay. Okay, let's do this. So we're going to extend this plan a little bit. Let's do that one. I think I have a way of doing that. Add more motion by default. I'm going to try that. Stop lower eyelid from catching. I don't know if there's a way for me to do that. I can try. Yeah, so adding roll to Wheatley. This is the big bit. The other thing that I could potentially do is get started on the control server. So one of the things we need to do is set up a server that's going to use a conversational agent API. It's something that can, out of the box, hopefully take my voice, transcribe it to text, feed it to an LLM, get a response back in character, and then I can choose whether I want that conversational agent to respond in audio that it can synthesize itself, or I could maybe just stick to a text modality and pass that text over to something like ElevenLabs. If I could get that Higgs AI audio stuff running locally, maybe I can look at that actually. Higgs AI audio Mac. I wonder if there's a way. I wonder if there is a way to get this running on a Mac. Let's see. We recommend to use NVIDIA Deep Learning containers to manage the CUDA environment. G'day, Ensmodman. How are you? What am I? I'm gonna have to grab my phone in a sec because it's the only way that I can actually turn this on. That is very annoying. Oh. So Yeah, it looks like, I mean, without an NVIDIA GPU, there's not really much you can do on this particular. At some point, I'm just going to have to buy like a discrete little NVIDIA GPU and use it for simple things like this. I mean, part of me also wonders, how much memory does this take up? Like, you know, how many gigabytes does this require? Is there any mention of that? Gigabytes. Here we go. For optimal performance, run the generation examples on a machine equipped with a GPU with at least 24 gigs of memory. That's a beefy GPU. Okay. Interesting. I mean, look, we can try it. See if this works. Not too bad, InSwamPman. Just, I'm trying to suss out the next steps for this project. So, I was able to get Wheatley kind of talking last time, which was fun. So I can take something that he wants to say and play it through the eyeball, and it'll talk and move around and blink and all the rest of it. And now I'm going through the slow process of trying to ratchet up what he can do, and all the different little details around how he talks. Well, at the moment, I have just shamelessly stolen Stephen Merchant's voice, but I think I'm going to have to, maybe this session, pick another voice for him. So could use some feedback from yourself on what would make a good voice. So what do we got? 11 Labs. I'm probably just going to go and sign up to 11 Labs today and see. Yeah, that might be a plan actually. So I'll try and get the Higgs boson stuff running locally. If I can, I'll use that. If I can't, I'm going to just sign up to 11 Labs, and we can pick a voice. If he had my voice, I would be so annoyed. I definitely noticed one of those things where, you know how part of the reason why we can't stand hearing our own voices played back to us is because, like, the vibrations that travel through your skull make it sound different when you're listening to your own voice versus how it sounds when you think you're talking. I don't know. I don't know if I could listen to it for a long time if it had my voice. But we can give it any other character. We can make it sound like Andrew Huberman. No, I don't know. We'll come up with something. I'm hoping that there'll be multiple voices as well, and that we could have like a voice for each different color of the eyeball. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we have to kind of get this working for one character first, and then I can start thinking about what are we going to do for other characters. In the ancient land of Eldoria. This is kind of cool. I didn't realize they could decorate it like this. 11 Labs has upgraded. That is very cool. Okay, I gotta hear this. Let's see how this sounds.
In the ancient land of Eldoria, where skies shimmered and forests whispered secrets to the wind, lived a dragon named Zephyros. Not the burn it all down kind, but he was gentle, wise, with eyes like old stars. Even the birds fell silent when he passed.
That's kind of cool. That's like a little bit of a Baldur's Gate sort of vibe.
We're off under the lights here for this semi-final clash. The stadium buzzing with anticipation. 11 Labs united in their iconic black and white shirts, pushing forward with intent straight from the opening whistle. The ball is zipped out wide. Early attack here, driving down the wing. Pace to Burn. Skips past one, skips past two. Oh, this is beautiful. One-on-one with the fullback. Cuts inside. Oh, that's a lovely bit of footwork. Pure magic on the pitch. 11 Labs on top form tonight.
Say what you will about SaaS companies, but 11 Labs has their pitch down pat. Like, I'm actively trying to not spend money on services until I absolutely need them. But that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Damn. And I'm very impressed that they've got this annotation here as well, because if they expose an API where I can annotate it with emotions, then I could pass that in as context to another LLM. And I could say, make sure that you decorate your sentences. You wouldn't get a headache if you hear this all the time. Yeah, totally. Yeah, probably not that intense. But something a bit more mellow and a bit, slower paced, maybe.
Back then, we had no phones, just dirt roads, radio songs, and big dreams.
Amen.
I kissed her under the old elm by Milder's Creek, swore I'd never leave. But then the war came and youth slipped through my fingers like smoke. Funny how a moment can last forever, even when everything else fades.
Well, that was unusually serious and existential. Wow, that was weirdly intense. It sort of sounds like, who's the guy who does Mayor West? Mayor West. Voice actor, who is it? That's not it. Voice actor. Sam Elliott. He does sound that voice does sound a little bit like Sam Elliott. Arichun. I have no idea what that voice is. If you've got an example, I'm gonna have to Google that because I have no idea who Richun is. Oh, distinct individuals. North Korean news presenter? Is that the one? I have no idea. You're gonna have to educate me a bit there, Insmall Ben. I'm drawing a blank. Oh, cool. See if I can pull up a video on this. All right.
Welcome back to Leading.
All right, here we go.
Ladies of the North. Today we're looking at the party's most famous newscaster, Lee Chun-hee. Born into a poor family in 19 drama major.
What does she sound like, though?
According to a 2009 edition of the
What
News
does she
Children's
sound
Monthly
like?
magazine, her rise to
That's an esoteric reference, man. I like it. I think that could be.
미 합중국 대통령은 이에 예를 표시하면서 조미 사이에 선의의 대화가 진행되는 동안 조선 측이 도발로 간주하는 미국 남조선 합동군사 연습을 중지하며 조선민주주의인민공화국에 대한 안전 담보를 제공하고
We could definitely make this one of the personalities.
대선이 진척되는 데 따라 대조선 제재를 해제할 수 있다는 의향을 표명했습니다. 경의하는 최고 용도자 동지께서는
Dear respected Supreme Commander.
시기에 평양을 방문하도록 초청하셨으며 트럼프 대통령도 김정은 국무위원장께서
Oh, that's so funny.
미국을 방문하여 주실 것을 초청했습니다.
We could also do, oh god, who is it?
조미 수뇌분들께서는 이러한 초청이 조미 관
Commander, you've rained on my glorious parade. For this, I'm sending everything I've got at you. But I won't let you have the satisfaction of catching me. I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been rocked in my capitalism.
Space.
Space!
Oh man. That's so silly. Okay, yeah. I'm excited. I need to keep a list of potential characters. I'm gonna write this down so I don't forget. Because I'm almost certainly going to forget the context after this session. So the suggestions are, I'm gonna say personality / voice. Oh my god. Yeah, that's true. I could do someone there. Alright, we got this. Let's do this. Could be SpongeBob. Okay. Alright. Let me grab my phone so that I can turn this back on again. And we're going to get started. Because I think this is... we're onto something. Ugh. Let's go. All right. Let's do this. So, first thing I brought back is, well, bone, which I left over next to the 3D printer again. But some rubber bands. And the reason why I brought those is I should be able to tie them around these plates to make them more rigid. I mean, I don't know, it's sort of a bit of a faff trying to get these things lined up. Maybe I can do it through the other side first. Oh man. I feel like I'm definitely doing this in the wrong order. Probably... There's some on that side. Okay, so I've already done that side. That's good. What I might have to do is I might have to take this left panel off for a second. I might need to... Oh, oops. That is totally fine. That's meant to do that. I think. Just box the microphone. Okay, so that's you. You're coming out. And then that's you. You're coming out. Alright. So the reason why I'm doing this is that inside Wheatley there are two little anchor points. Those anchor points need to actually be rigid. I think the only way I'm going to be able to do that is with these rubber bands. I'll do one more rotation after that. One, that's two, that's three, that's four. Yeah, cool. So, little rubber bands tied to either of those points. Should be able to reattach this. Oh man, what did I do there? That was not good. The whole thing is so off kilter. Whatever. get this plugged in first. I go around like this. Yo! Welcome, Wolfman. Good to see you. Yeah, for another night of Struggle Street, trying to get this thing working, or rather, trying to get this thing to the next milestone. And actually making some progress, which is kind of nice. So what I've just done is I've just sort of unceremoniously ripped the side off Wheatley's head so that I could stiffen up the linkages that attach to his handlebars. And hopefully that's going to enable us to get some kind of control out of... Lock in for me? Buddy? Maybe not. Yeah, hopefully that gives us some kind of control over over his eyebrow. And if not, that's okay, because we have a plan to animate a different part of Wheatley anyway. Which is going to be hard, but worth it, I think. Let's go, come on, plug in. Plug in, damn you. Alright, I think that's... yeah, there we go. Okay, done. Nice. That means we can now pick that up again. Every time I move this, something pops off. Really. Okay, I hope that's rigid enough. I'm starting to think that it might be. Not looking too bad, to be honest. Okay. So, the thing we need to do first. I'm going to turn Wheatley back on. Cool. So there's that. Then we plug this back in. Okay, cool. Over just a little bit. Let's try again. Okay. Now, I did move the wire that measures whoopsie-daisies, that measures the audio output from Wheatley. And I reckon I might have unplugged it too. So, take a look. So, what pin was it? I've totally forgotten what pin hooked his. ADC pin was 35, which is where? Pin 35 is over here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from the top on the right hand side. So we're basically saying that this should work. Might do. Take this and move it around. It's time for this to move opposite. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Now we get like a little bit of a spike in voltage readings. So that means if I were to say, if I were to go over and open up VLC again,
And what else is down there? Tell you what, it's only a new jumpsuit. Here's an interesting story, you might like this. I almost got a job down here in manufacturing, but guess who the foreman went with? Only an exact...
Okay, I can't hear the audio he's saying though, which is a problem. So Wheatley also probably needs to go... needs to go there. Alright, let's try it again.
Here's an interesting story, you might like this. I almost got a job down here in manufacturing, but guess who the foreman...
Alright.
They say that the old caretaker of this place went absolutely crazy. Chopped up his entire staff of robots. All of them robots. They say at night you can still hear the screams of their replicas. All of them functionally indistinguishable from the originals. No memory of the incident. Nobody knows what they're screaming about. Absolutely terrifying. Though obviously not paranormal in any meaningful way. Here's an interesting story, you might like this. I almost got a job down here in manufacturing, but guess who the foreman went with? Only an exact duplicate of himself. Nepotism. Ended up giving me the worst possible job, tending to all the smelly humans. Sorry about that. That just slipped out.
Cool. Okay. Interesting, I'm still getting a spike, actually. Yeah, I'm still getting spikes on this audio line. I don't exactly know where it's coming from. It looks like every time the eye blinks, it triggers a bit of interference that's then picked up. So I might need to set the filter a little bit higher, because every now and again you get these spikes. Interesting. It was almost less noisy the other way around. I wonder if there's a way that I can shield this. I mean, it looks okay. Flickers every now and again, which isn't great.
Okay, listen, let me lay something on you here. It's pretty heavy. They told me never, never, ever to disengage myself from my management rail or I would die. But we're out of options here. So get ready to catch me, alright, on the off chance that I'm not dead the moment I pop off this thing. Right, let's go! Jump! What's the worst that could happen? I just thought about the worst thing that could happen there. I just thought of something even worse. Better plan, a new plan, no imagining of any potential outcomes whatsoever, okay? Just jump. Just jump into the abyss and see what happens. Oh, it's still there. It's still in my head. Alright. Preparing to interface with the neurotoxin central control circuit. Begin. Hello, Gov.
Okay, cool. So I reckon probably better to adjust this just a little bit. Alright, let's try that one more time and see if we can get this being a little bit more variable. Bet you I put 180 somewhere else in this. Where is it? Where's the brightness? Okay, so if we make it... That should be okay. Oh, cool, man. What kind of website? Yeah, upload and monitor. See if this works. Ooh. Okay. Interesting. It does flicker every now and again, but not super intensely. A little bit. This should have a little bit more variable brightness. What can we get him to say?
So, boom, better offer here. You've got yacht, and what else is down there? Tell you what, it's only the Puppet Master. If you're dying but not dead, so boom, better offer. The masher does work. I should point that out as well. I know. Plus, I have put a lot of effort in. Well. Welcome to my lair. Let me just flag something up. According to the control panel light up there, the entire building is going to self-destruct in about 6 minutes. I'm pretty sure it's a problem with the light. I think the light's on the blink, but just in case it isn't, I am actually going to have to kill you, as discussed earlier. Are you trying to weigh me down? Do you think I'll fall out of the ceiling?
Gosh. Intense character. Personal side portfolio. Cool, man. Yeah, look, it's important. Everyone's got to advertise in some way, shape, or form. Most engineers I know sort of hate the way it feels to have to advertise yourself, but it's a pretty necessary skill. So it's good to have a portfolio. Now, where to from here? We said that we were going to do some things. Going to make the handles more rigid. Test whether or not that works. I mean, did it do the thing? So we've got. When was it? It was servo 7, right? Should we try? I have no idea what that did. I have no idea what that did either. Yeah, weird. Weird. It's almost like... Ah, cool. Step by step, man. Before you know it, you'll have a real need for a full-on search bar. So, am I going to be able to get something out of this servo? I'm not entirely sure. 7, I've constrained between 20 and 180. Oh. I mean, if I do 50, 40, okay, maybe 50. What does this even look like? That's a full extension. That's the thing, right? Like, that's sort of where it's meant to take you, but it's not rigid enough for that to happen. See, the left side goes down, the right side does not. Whoops. So this side of Wheatley's moving, this side not moving with it. What can I do about that? Yeah, one game a week, absolutely, man. Done some good skills along the way. I keep thinking about this thing that I saw from a short by Hank Green a couple of weeks ago, maybe even more recently than that, where he was talking about how he didn't like the way that people were told to sort of follow their passion, and he suggested an alternative, which was follow your tools. Like, follow the things that you have any sort of experience in and see where they lead you. And if you enjoy making games, I imagine, you know, your experience with various tools is growing every time you build something. That's one thing I'm hoping to do here, actually, is I'm hoping to get a little bit better at these tools so that I can continue to muck around with embedded and all the rest of it. Now, what else can I muck around with on this? I mean, I could try doing the... Is 5 IOR? 5's not really IOR. You're 5. I roll is what I want. It's servo 4. Oh, well, nice, man. Yeah, look, programming can be... When you find the right space and you inhabit it for a while, solving a problem that you're interested in, it can be really cool. Plus, software touches everything these days, so whatever it is you're into, you can find a programming job that relates to it. Now, Servo 4... I was meant to try and test this, but I don't think it actually will do anything. So if I do... Okay, Wheatley, look at me for a second. I'm going to give you some instructions and hopefully you don't break yourself. Not looking promising. Let's just... Struggling? High-pitched noise coming from something. I can put a little bolt or something through there. Let's try. Make him wobble and sparkle. If I knew how to do that, yeah, maybe. I'm hoping to make him physically wobble around. So one of the extensions to this is to use this beefy servo, which can allegedly move 55 kilos, and stick that behind him so that he can roll and all the rest of it. That is the plan, at least. Let's go. You. So, I had inside here a little box of screws. That is not my box of screws. They're in here somewhere. This is them. Cool. Little box of screws. I'm wondering if I can make Wheatley a little bit more rigid by selectively putting bolts in the right place. Example. Come over here for a second. Very annoying thing to pop in. Oh, interesting. That doesn't stop it. What can I do about this? G'day, John. How are you? Welcome to the madhouse. Oh, man. Look, Wheatley, come back. Over here. So rigid, so heavy. Yeah, shoot. Get you. Come on, you bladder. That's better. That's a bit better. Okay, cool. Emulator to play Android games on PC. Oh man, if I knew one, I would suggest it. Unfortunately, my dude, the only emulators I ever mucked around with were things like Dolphin and a few others. LD Player 9. It's BlueStacks. Yeah, it causes BlueStacks. Causes my PC to lag and it's a lot of resources. Yeah. Part of me wonders. Yeah, look, unfortunately, I just don't know a lot about Android emulators, man. But I would imagine that the things that an emulator needs to do, and the things that like an Android SDK or a dev kit need to do, would actually be pretty similar. So you might find something there if you do a little bit of research in terms of running apps on your own machine. G'day, Thrasher man. How are you? Sorry I can't be more useful. I yeah, I've never really mucked around with Android emulators. I've only mucked around with this bloody hunk of junk. Cool, how about you? I am pretty well. I'm currently like banging my head through the rest of this project, trying to hit the next milestone. And so the thing that I'm really pushing for now is I want this guy to talk. I want him to...
Are you trying to weigh me down? Do you think I'll fall out of the ceiling?
He gets very irate sometimes. But let's have a look at this. Let's see.
Let me just... I don't know if I've ever taken the time to do this, but have I ever told you the qualities that I love most in you? In order, number one, resolving things. Love the way you resolve things, particularly disputes. And number one, also tied, button pushing. Two things I love about you, button pushing and the ability to resolve things, chiefly disputes.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So this isn't from Fallout, this is Wheatley from Portal 2. He's a bit British, ain't he? Yeah. He's a British robot, and so I'll give you a bit of a run through of what I'm trying to do and why. There's a whole bunch of cool stuff that you can do with AI, and one of the things that I was promised as a kid, and I'm sure all of us were promised to some degree as a kid, was that the future was going to involve robots, not like in your computer, but actually in the real world. And so I want to build one of these robots and put it in the real world. So one of the games that I played as a kid growing up was Portal. Portal 2 has this character called Wheatley, who is a charming British robot. He's a bit of an idiot. And I want to use AI and 3D printing to try and build Wheatley in real life. And this is how far I've got so far. So I have a Wheatley. I have something that looks like a Wheatley. He moves, he blinks, and I'm trying to get him to talk. And I guess the end goal is I want him to sit over my shoulder and be annoying and British while I play video games. That's the end goal. So twice a week, I'm spending a little bit of time after work just trying to get him towards that goal. And that's pretty much the stream, man. So if you're ever around, we'd love to have you. I'm going to be tinkering away on this as long as it takes me. And then eventually, for anyone who's interested, whoever's on stream, I'm going to come up with a bunch of different personalities. So I'm going to try and come up with a bunch of different voices and personalities and see if I can program them into Wheatley. And maybe down the line, see if there's a way for people on stream to change what personality is currently active. Codsworth. Absolutely, we could do a Codsworth per personality. We could do something really annoying. We could do something really grumpy. We could do something, really mysterious. We could muck around with it. And so I'm going through all the processes. Whoops. There's like too many things on my desk that I'm knocking. I'm going to go through all the process of getting it to understand my voice, and then getting it to think and then talk back to me, and trash talk about me playing video games, really. And then just have a bit of fun is the end goal. Thanks, man. Yeah, so we'll see how we go. There's a lot of fun stuff to come, and there's a lot of boring stuff that I got to get through too. But part of the reason why I started streaming this is that it's holding me to a schedule. So every week I have to spend a little bit of time on this project and get it just a little bit further. And so the plan, a glorious plan up here, this is my mental state throughout the course of this project, just trying not to look like a ranting madman. The plan to get us closer to building this guy is, where are we? Le plan 6, Motrix. This one. This is what we're trying to do. So we are trying to make the handles more rigid. I didn't really do that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. Oh god. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that perfectly. So I'm probably going to pause my efforts on that front. Adding more motion by default, I think, is going to be tricky. I think the next thing I'm going to be able to do to add more motion to this guy is I have a really beefy servo, this little 55 kilo one here, the big chunky boy. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to slap it at the back of Wheatley. Yeah, look, the coding side would be fun. That's true. And then I can get him to move in a more interesting way later. I like your thinking. I think that's probably a valid take. Stop lower eyelid from catching. I'm pretty sure I've done that, so I can feel happy with that. Add roll to Wheatley. So this thing, maybe we bump that. Maybe we get started on the control server first. So something that I also wanted to experiment with as part of this project was to see how far I could get with a little bit of vibe coding. Vibe coding is very hit or miss. It's very, sometimes it can be great for simple things, or it can be absolutely atrocious and get stuck in loops. But I want to see how far I can go with it. So, without further ado, let's come up with a plan for what I want to build. Yeah, exactly. So one of the things that I could do, if I wanted to, is I could use something like, if you have a look at this, I could have a look at Gemini. Conversational. I'll see if I can find this for you. Oh, this is kind of cool, actually. I didn't realize this is a thing. I'm very glad that you asked that question, by the way, Thrasher, because I just Googled something and I learned something that I didn't know. I mean, that's something that happens all the time. But check this out. Gemini 2.0 Flash. Sorry, I'm flashbanging everyone with the white on this. Gemini 2.0 now apparently works with 11 Labs. That's really cool. That's really cool. I wonder if that's going to help me. I wonder if that's going to help me link these things up. Because something that I want to do, right, is let's say I talk to the model. I'll draw a little diagram to explain what I'm going to try and do. Let's say I talk to the model and I go, actually, you know what? We're going to go to draw.io because I find that a little bit easier to work with. Let's say I talk to the model and I say something like, blah de blah blah. Yeah, how is a very good question. So if I say something dumb to this model and then I look at, there's no way this has a Wheatley image. I would laugh so hard. Orb. Just give me an orb. I. Okay. This is going to be the symbol for Wheatley. And make it this. So I say something to Wheatley, blah, 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 blah. And then Wheatley would turn around and use, let's say, Gemini. Wheatley would go and reach out to Gemini, take what I've said, and basically generate a response. Now, that response is going to come back depending on how you configure Gemini. You can tell Gemini to respond to you in text, or it can respond to you in audio. So they call those modalities, different response modalities. And it's like a setting that you can configure when you talk to that particular model. Now, one of the things I was thinking we could do is after I talk to it, yeah, totally, exactly. So like we can plug in all of these things. But the cool thing with Gemini is that I was hoping to get it to give me a very particular kind of response. So the response I was hoping would look a little bit like a JSON format, Or maybe not, maybe it'll be plain text, but I was hoping to end up with something like this, which would be like response, and then it would be decorated in a specific way. So let's say I wanted Wheatley to turn around and say to me, you know, what the hell are you on about, mate? I want the model to decorate what it says to me with, oops, daisies. I'm gonna have to move this around actually. Move this around and let's collapse this. So if I were to say, you know, response, what the hell are you on about, mate? If we were to say, yeah. Let's get rid of this. What the hell are you on about, mate? I'd want it to decorate it with extra things. So I want it to say what Wheatley is meant to be doing while he's saying that. So let's say, you know, squint for 5 seconds or something, just as an example, right? So squint 5. And then I'd also want it to decorate it with an emotion, right? So it would say like squint 5, and then it would also say like maybe irritated. Yeah, so I could have a prompt that says like, you are this character, I want you to decorate your responses like this using these options. So I'd give the AI like a list of moves that the bot can make, and I'd give it a list of emotions that it's able to apply. And then I could hopefully strip these out. I would send these to the control code inside Wheatley's brain that tells him how to move. And then I would send this bit over to 11 Labs to decorate its audio, because 11 Labs has a really cool language, like emotional thing. Yeah. So I'm hoping that's all doable, right? I'm hoping that, I think one of the things that might be problematic is if I want the model to respond in this way, if I were to hook it up using the 11 Labs integration, just as it is, I imagine it's going to try and get 11 Labs to say this directly. Like, I don't think there's going to be an opportunity for me to intercept it and strip out this stuff. Would be my, well, you probably can't see that. Yeah. I don't think there's going to be an opportunity for me to strip out this stuff. So I probably don't want 11 Labs to literally go squint 5, irritated. What the hell are you on about, mate? And yeah, there might be merit to doing it separately, but let's see how far we can go with this. Also, probably worth reading that summary from. Sorry, let's go do this. So here. Do I have? Oh, dark mode, glorious dark mode. I shouldn't have opened that in another tab. Flashbanging everyone looking at the stream. Okay, let's see what they're doing with this, because I'm kind of curious.
Gemini 2.0 Flash now works with 11 Labs conversational AI, vertical bar 11 Labs. Gemini 2.0 Flash.
Oh, it's literally just reading the article to me. Okay, I get it. I get it. 2.0 Flash has a very fast time to first token. Yep, cool. Great instruction following, reliable function calling. Cool. So it works for 2.0 Flash. And then what does it basically do? Thanks. Number of custom built-in models. There's a custom LLM option. Okay, so you can call it like a tool and then return those results. Start building conversational AI. Okay, 11 Labs conversational AI. Yeah, the collab definitely doesn't have this in mind. But that's not going to stop me from trying. I think, like you mentioned earlier, I should probably just get started on some version of the code to try and control it directly, and then figure out where it's bad, and most of it will be bad, and just fix pieces of it as I go. try to upgrade little pieces of it and get it to a point where, you know, it's fun to talk to, hopefully. Because one of the goals for this is to eventually do a bit of a stress test on this platform, see how long I can keep the robot running for, by basically doing a 24-hour stream. And this thing is going to try and talk to chat and not destroy itself. I hope that's one of the goals. So, Storm Open API key, blah, 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 secrets. Wow, they have their own, like, integrated thing. I saw someone make one that uses ChatGPT to access the internet and answer questions, turn off lights. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people do that. I had a coworker of mine who said something very funny the other day. He integrated ChatGPT into his home lab and told it to come up with basically cron jobs based off the habits of people in the house. And after a few weeks of learning, basically learning from telemetry inside the house, it started turning off the lights before they were going to bed. So they'd just be in the middle of talking to one another and everything would just go, you're done. The AI has decided that you are done now. There's probably a line as to how much responsibility we want to give these things. Custom LLM servo. A little bit of a Python SDK. Okay. Alright. We can do that. We could do that. Let's take a look at the 11 Labs SDK. 11 Labs SDK. Let's take a look and see if they have a TypeScript one. They do. They do. Python's more fun for integrating with the rest of the ML stack. But if I just have more experience doing web server-y things. Yeah, I did. It actually came from this machine. So this thing that you're seeing in the top right. Thanks, man. So I built a 3D printer from scratch. There's a kit that you might have heard of. It's this thing called Boron. These things. So I built the 3D printer that you see in the top right there. I built from scratch. And then I used it to 3D print this. And one of the things that I've completely forgotten, I probably won't print anything tonight, but yeah, I'm hoping to print the rest of the components to actuate Wheatley with the same machine. It's been a real learning process, a lot of fun. So what's happening with this 11 Labs JS? Let's see if we can use Climb to get off the ground really quickly. So if I want to set up, say, a really basic, do this, main TS transcribe. What's going on in here? Main TS transcribe. I don't need any of this actually, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete all of this. This can all go away. Alright, I don't know if firmware is actually, firmware should be tracked. Let's move this around. So the embedded code is C++. You can sort of see it over here. So the embedded code is C++, and the web server will probably have to be TypeScript or Node.js if I can get away with it. Yeah, that should probably cover it, I think. So let's have a muck around with Climb. Like, let's plan this. Let's see if we can plan this out and if Climb can help us out here. So one of the things that I've really liked with Climb as a tool, we had a guy who hopped on stream back when I was still doing the mechanical side of this, and he suggested Climb as a tool to sort of rapidly prototype. and it's been pretty fun to muck around with so far. So let's close all of that. Let's see if... Yeah, one of the cool things about this particular setup is that Klein has two different modes for how you prompt the model. It has like a plan and an act side. I don't know if you've ever used it before, but I've been really impressed with how it sort of breaks down the process of vibe coding. So what do we want to do here? We want to build a server that basically controls this guy. How are we going to do this? Okay. I want to build a locally running web server. Oh, nice, man. Yeah, look, Python's a good place to start. It's definitely helps you get off the ground running. Yeah. Oh, awesome, man. Yeah, look, programming's a huge amount of fun. And this, like, the ceiling has never been higher in terms of what you can do. And the tools that are at your disposal to get started are wild, absolutely wild. One thing that I think is really dangerous for people getting started with programming is balancing between using automation tools like vibe coding with sort of eating your vegetables, so to speak. You know how when you learn something for the first time, like the mistakes that you make are really valuable? There's sort of, if you do vibe coding from the get-go, you sort of deprive yourself of that experience sometimes, which can make it difficult to know when the model is lying to you, for example. But yeah, so what are you building in Python, man? What's taken you into Python as a language? Use Gemini plus 11 labs. As well as a bound file. Let's see how it goes with this. Basic projects, really. The most model that providing system messages, issue with the API or the model type. Let's try it again. Interesting. I wonder if my... one sec. I need to muck around with this a little bit. Did not use a tool in your previous response. Interesting. basic project really. I started with just normal computer science and Python, mainly YouTube courses. Yeah, look, there's no better way to learn than by doing. And you can do some really cool stuff with Python too. A lot of people, particularly like programming graybeards, like to talk about how Python is slow and all the rest of it, but the fact that the syntax isn't a huge pain to learn and it reads pretty well, it's a really good language to get started with. So now we need to debug why Klein is not working. There's something funky going on here. See if that works. Okay, that's kind of working. There must have been a change with 2.5 Pro that it's just not happy with. Let's see what happens here. I understand you want to build a locally running web server. This is an exciting project. Yeah, I hope so. It's on the file, blah, blah, tsconfig, it appears, blah. Yes, the firmware directory suggests the robot has embedded software. It does. It does. Very good. Phase 1, backend server development. So we're going to set up a new project. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's just use Express or something. I don't know if Express paid Google, or if it's just the most common. But I'm surprised they never do Koa or something, or like it's always Express. Voice input. Integrate a library to capture audio from the microphone. This will likely involve streaming audio data. That is exactly what I want. Gemini integration. Develop a module to send transcribed voice data to the Gemini API, process its response, generate appropriate commands for the robotic eye. That is exactly what I wanted to do. 11 Labs integration. Create a module to send text responses to the 11 Labs API to generate audio files. Serial communication. Implement a module using serial port to send the generated commands to the robotic eye via a serial port while playing the audio. We're going to connect the components. Thoroughly test the system. I've never seen a vibe-coded output tested, but we'll see. To refine this plan, and Schroed Builder, I have a few questions. Preferred programming language. Let's do TypeScript because I feel like the errors that come out of that are going to be a little bit more informative, and it's probably going to help this. It's going to help stop the model from hallucinating, basically, because the type checking will fail if it tries to suggest properties or attributes that don't exist on those types. Which will probably save our bacon. Operating system. What operating system will this server run on? This is critical for the microphone input. Well, it's going to run on a Mac. So, audio channel details can provide blah, blah, blah. So, this is using a thing called Wheatley. Okay. Wait, let's answer these questions one by one. And you know what I'll do? So let's go ahead and log in. It might be time. All right, cool. So here is 11 Labs. I need to go get an API key, actually. Okay, cool. I'm going to call this Wheatley. And I'm just going to have to dump this somewhere. Hopefully not blurt it out. Whereabouts are we? So this thing, we're going to go back here. Alright, cool. So inside the orb, we do already have an API key. Does it have a mic? Does it have a mice or something to take input? Mic? Yeah, so there are two mics that I have access to. One of them is just like a little lapel mic, fits on the side here, and then there's a desk mic as well. Probably it's fine for me to just use the same mic that I'm using to talk to you right now to send commands to Wheatley. I don't think I need to overcomplicate that. So probably the same mic will do. And then all the processing can happen on this laptop, and then that'll materialize into commands for the eyeball itself. The only tricky bit that I had to do was to get the eye to flicker. So if I get the eye to say something, let's say for example, where is it? If I get the eye to do something like...
Most test subjects do experience some cognitive deterioration after a few months in suspension. Now, you've been under for quite a lot longer, and it's not out of the question that you might have a very minor case of serious brain damage. But don't be alarmed, all right? Because, well, actually, if you do feel alarmed, hold on to that. Because the feeling of alarm is the proper reaction to being told you've got massive brain damage.
Anyway, to get the eye to flicker like that, I've actually had to take an audio jack from my laptop and plug it into Wheatley. And I've got a little circuit there that kind of reads the audio and modulates the intensity based off the volume of the audio file that's being played. Alright, let's do this. So, audio channels, blah, blah. Serial command format. What is the expected format of the serial, blah, blah. Yeah, cool. So, let's go ahead and answer each of these questions in order. So, we're going to say preferred programming language. I'm going to say TypeScript. And then I'm going to say operating system. This will work on Mac using Mac OS's multiple actually let's just say this will work on Mac. And then audio channel details. Can you provide more specific details about the dedicated or okay. The audio channel is, if I pull it over, it's actually over here. It's called Wheatley. And if I, so, audio channel is a multi-output group via Mac OS's, what's it even called? Audio MIDI setup. The output channel is called Wheatley. Cool. Raspberry Pis are cool. but they have a disadvantage in that they need to boot every single time you want to power cycle them or make any changes. There is an advantage in that you could just leave it running and just update the code. The system that I'm using for this is just an ESP32, and the nice thing about that is, A, it's very small, it's very low power, and it boots up immediately. So if the second I plug this in, Wheatley's on and moving. To process. So what kind of, to process what specifically? What is the expected volume of 0 commands? Okay, this is a good question. The API generally is built around sending serial messages in the format run action command. Okay, fair enough. Command name. Cool. So what are we doing here? We've got a bunch of different commands. And I had to, last time I was working on this, build up a list of multiple action names. These were like default emotes that Wheatley could do. Here they are. These are things like no quickly, wake up, sleep, no slowly. So let's just quickly grab some of these. I'll write these down. Glance up, glance side, look around. Oh, interesting. I think I've actually doubled up on these. I might actually comment these out. I don't think I actually need a secondary list of named actions for glance up. There's glance up, glance down, glance up, glance down, look around, blink slow, blink fast, blink fast. Wink is a bit of a weird one. This guy only has one eyeball, so winking, not really a thing. Then we're going to also go surprise. And then we're going to say suspicious. All of these can be upgraded as we go. He can wink. It's sort of his winking and his blinking. Yeah, I'd have to think about that. And we've also got nod quickly, nod slowly, nod slowly. We've got no quickly and no slowly. No quickly and no slowly. Okay, cool. We've got a basic list of animations that we can give it. So to answer client's question, run action command name, where command is one of the following. And we're going to give it an array. These. Cool. Then we have API keys. Do you already have API keys for Gemini? I need a guide on how to obtain them. API keys. I already have API keys. They are in the repository root under .env, as per usual. Cool. Now, I'm going to copy this, and one thing I'd like to see is whether or not I can use Pro again. Let's copy this. Let's see how this goes. It blew up last time. It might just be something broken with... yeah, unexpected. The language model did not provide any assistant messages. This may indicate an issue with the API or the model's output. Yeah, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, it's looking like it's broken for 2.5 Pro, which is annoying. Oh. Did that do it? Change it to Flash. I've hit done. I've pasted this. The above should answer your questions. See how this goes. Let's see how quickly we back ourselves into a corner by just letting the model go brr. Up the top here, you can see how much money we've spent generating garbage. 3, 2, 1. Make it so. Run command, let's go. Yes, please update Zeesh. It's a bit annoying that it decided to npm init inside the server, inside the source directory. This is not free. So the client itself is free, but the model that you plug it into, you get charged at whatever rate that model normally gets charged at. So I'm using Gemini 2.0 Flash for this. We'll see how it goes. I was using 2.5 Pro and seemingly it's broken today. I think maybe the API has changed or it's stopped responding in the format that client expects. I don't know. Something is broken. Okay, what does it want to do? It wants to install types. Yeah, sure. And it wants to install Google Cloud Speech. Google Cloud Speech is interesting because 11 Labs API is not in this registry. Yes, that is not how you do that. Already we are running into issues. And this is why we use TypeScript, by the way. Because some of these already aren't working as expected. So I reckon the circular loop that we're going to be stuck in is that it's going to continually try to install this package that doesn't exist. It's also tried to import serial port twice for some reason. Interesting. I wonder why it's done that. First off, while it's doing this, I don't think Node.js. Let's have a look. So maybe it's just the Malta thing that's throwing it up. What the hell is Malta? Ah, multi-part form. Why does it need that? Interesting. Let's take a look at this. So if we go, let's try and install Google Cloud Speech to start with. Okay, that one's fine. Now, there's something, that was weird. Look at this, vibe coding goes brrr. You will very soon. Like it's just a matter of putting time into it. The nice thing with JavaScript as a follow-on language, or the terrible thing, depending on who you ask, is that it sort of introduces a whole bunch of quirks and behaviors that make you a little bit more aware of just how different languages are implemented. JavaScript has a whole bunch of peculiarities that make it ridiculous to get reliable behavior out of. But it works in the browser and in the backend. So companies love it because they theoretically can hire one dev to do multiple jobs. What's it trying to do here? App crashed. Unknown file extension TS. Blah, blah, blah. Source server, source intex. This is a really weird project directory structure that it's done. That's bad. What is it trying to do? Wild. Let's see if there's anything on the updates for Kleins. If I go Klein Gemini Pro 2.5. It's hard to go wrong, right? I think if you keep pushing along whatever track you're on right now, something that's kind of nice about coding is that you're eventually going to get to the point in your project where you want to do something else that's going to require you to learn an entirely new stack of technology. And the more projects you take on, the more often that happens. So I'm sure you'll reach a point in whatever it is that you're doing with Python where you'll be like, I now suddenly need to do a whole bunch of stuff in the browser. And that could be a jumping off point for you to, unless you're doing server-side rendering, but you could also try making your first single-page app. You could try playing around with WebAssembly. You could, do all sorts of things from there. Now, Klein. I wonder what's going on with this. I wonder why it's not working. I'm going to go ahead and change this to 2.5 Pro. And click done, and then I'm going to quit this just quickly. I'm going to open up Visual Studio Code one more time. Yeah, that's probably the best. That's probably the best way to engage with it. If you're enjoying it, you're going to get so much more out of it. Like, as much as this project has frustrated me, I've actually had a lot of fun getting each of the steps working. And we live in a really crazy time. There's some sick stuff out there. If you are so inclined to play around with hardware at all, it's always really fun when the software that you write has physical consequences. There is, what is it? For electronics, there's some multi-human broadwave stuff. These things are sick. So these guys sell a bunch of tools that are basically time-of-flight sensors, and they're amazing. I'll see if I can show you exactly. Where's this guy start testing it? Here it is. So I think he actually uses Python for this as well, if you wanted to try it. This guy's using a Python library and a little microcontroller. I think it's a Raspberry Pi, Pico or something. And he's hooked in this sensor, and he's got it's a little radar sensor that picks up his location and accurately reports where he is. And like how he's moving and all the rest of it. It's incredible. This is literally what I study in college. How cool. From like a signal processing perspective. That's very, man. The fact that you can do something like this in a little chip that is, how much money is this? How much money are these chips? $16 Aussie. Electrical engineering, sick. So you did an actual degree. See, I did a Franken degree at uni. I did mechatronics, which pretends to be 3 degrees and gives you none of the foundations sufficiently in any of them. Man. Anyway, we're living in a cool time. There's a lot of really cool hardware out there. Klein, let's go. Resume task, please. Don't tell me that you can't do the API request. Please do not blow up on me. Model did not provide any assistant messages. Blah. Interesting. Look at this. Fine, Gemini. I wonder if there's a client update for this. After downgrading to 3.18, it's now working for me. Last week, Gemini 2.5. Oh, your account is being throttled by Google. Wow. Interesting. I might have hit their API a little too hard. Interesting. I wonder what the throttling period is, like how long it ends up happening. Interesting. Okay. Well, we're gonna have to use 2.5 Flash until I am no longer throttled. I was thinking about doing it. Thought it would make getting a job easier in the future. CS. CS. It's a lot of majors together. Yeah, look, in some senses it can be. The weird thing with mechatronics degrees is that they're really meant to be the foundation for systems engineering. And no one hires a systems engineer sort of straight out of uni. It's all the systems engineers that I know of. They have learned one domain, be it mechanical, computer science, electrical. They've learned that domain really well, and they've learned how to operate in that domain. And then they've translated sort of what they've learned about that, how to operate in that domain, to other domains. They've learned to generalize the way that they break a problem down. And so, yeah, mechatronics, I think it's a good degree. It's a good degree, but it's sort of, the proof is in the pudding a little bit. A lot of mechatronics engineers end up picking one of the three domains and getting a job in that domain, rather than getting a role that sort of fits all three. Alright, unknown or unexpected error loader. Let's take a look at this. What do we got? Oh, it's giving me a... Interesting. I should really tell it to stop doing this. Kill one. I should really tell it to do this. Please never run kill one. Ask me to terminate JSTS node processes myself. Unknown file extension. Okay, let's see if we can rescue this from the hole that it's dug itself. So, I don't think there's a reason. I think there's a reason for this to really be where it is. I think we could just move this one level up. How can I move this? You know what? We're just gonna do it in the terminal, stuff it. What are we looking at? We're heading over to source here. We've got yeah, okay. So we're gonna move source server to here. Okay, so the server's there, so then source should have nothing in it. Cool. Just because that with that nested source was a bit of a weird thing. Didn't really make sense. So let's head over to server. What have we got? Let's take a look at this package Hesson. We go server, package JSON. Alright, so this crashed. Why did this crash? Null prototype, run main. Source, index. Interesting. Quickly a can only be default import using the allow synthetic imports flag. Isn't that my TS config? I should already have that. That should already, yeah. Allow synthetic default imports. That is exactly what we want. Cool. So we'll pop that in there. First off, let's see how this works. Experimental loader use register. Interesting. Okay. Pretty sure you can do that in one line. I can't remember exactly how to do it. Yeah, I don't know why it cares about that being a separate line. A bit weird. Done some really weird stuff. Oh, okay. It expects me to set an 11 Labs voice ID. That's okay. We can do that later. Node internal, run main. Of course. Of course. This thing just probably doesn't even know how to... Let's take a look at this. Let's just use TS node for this. I feel like... Okay, so let's go, let's change this then to TS node. Interesting. Why is that? Is the TS config wrong? Modules. Fun. Do it this way then. Let's go build. I'm pretty sure I don't need to do that anyway. And then start. Okay, let's see, what's it complaining about here? No overload matches this call. Is this completely... Oh, look at this. I feel like it's just hallucinated some types there. So I'm streaming 2 days a week at the moment. It's Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And yeah, that's the schedule for now until I get this working, and then I might do it more regularly if I actually get this talking and working the way that I want it to. What are you complaining about? Build. Let's go. Oh, you know what else? I hate this about VS Code. So other IDEs, by default, when you change a file, it will, in a prompt fashion, flush those changes to disk. Unless you're using like a really old school editor, like, you know, Nano or something like that. Maybe certain versions of Vim that haven't been configured. But every IDE that I've seen people set up in a nice way autosaves. Except the VS Code. Very annoying. Okay, ElevenLabs API key is not on the thing. Why is it not on the thing? Could be there. Let's see. What does it expect it to be called? It expects it to be called ElevenLabs. Ah. Let's try that one more time. Okay. ElevenLabs API key. That is absolutely in there. What are you talking about? Oh. Yeah, that will probably do it. ElevenLabs API key is not set in the... and of course I haven't saved it again! Again! This should do it. Third time's a charm. Yeah, cool. Injecting env from this thing. Sweet. It's got it. It knows it's there. DName.not find an ES module scope. Okay, like the ES module, common module. ES all over again. I feel like every time I learn to navigate around this, just after I've forgotten how I did it last time. What's that module interoperability flag? I've forgotten the thing for it. Okay, package JSON. Oh, wait a minute. Again, save. Interesting. DName is not defined in ES module scope. That's very dysfunctional. Let's see if Clang can work its way around this. Constantly trying to regenerate the TS config. Good. The Pro model is definitely a lot better at this. See if I can find some information around where and how they rate limit. Rate limits. Let's have a look. For example, if your RPM limit is 20, making 21 requests within a minute will result in an error. They're applied per project, not per API key. They reset at midnight Pacific time. Okay. 2.5 Flash is obviously a lot cheaper for them to run. Is it still on? Oh, it is. Process ID. Ugh. Yeah, 9 should be SIGINT, right? 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Big kill, yeah. That's kill dash 9. Ah. It says there's no such process. It's weird, it's like, yeah, it's saying that it doesn't know that it's there. Let's see if I can buff this out of Gemini. Still alive, zombie process. No matching processes belonging to me. That's simply not true. Arknown there, that's... Imaginary uncacheable require resolve script. That doesn't look hacky at all. Why does it keep trying to put server in source server? Wow, it is deeply confused. Okay, we're gonna stop this and restart it. Start a new task. And the other question that it asked me go here. Delete this. Move all of this out to here. And let's move notebooks out to here. And we'll move this out to here too. Okay, let's try this. Oh, I missed that message from Thatcher above. Thanks, man. Not that you'll ever see this, but thanks for the good wishes. What is this? What is this? Alright, let's upload the monsters one more time. Where to go, did it? Go. This. Dev call up USB serial. This is the one. Okay. You know what? We can try this again. Let's nuke all of this. Alright, so what do we got? Where? Clean up node code. Let's see if it has an easier time using Python for this. Oh, I have that information for you. How it goes. Thank you, Gary. Very kind of you. Alright, this claims that it's done the thing. Press X to doubt. And hammer. Okay, let's see. Really does love rewriting the entire file all the time. This thing has no idea how to use the API. Let's see. There is no way that this works. Why did it build a... Anyway. You don't finish authorization to view this page. Allegedly. Click the button and speak your command. Tell me a joke. Gemini Pro not found a blah. Interesting. Alright, this is definitely stuck in a bit of a loop again. Server. This is an excellent directory structure. What is going on? And again, it's fallen for the same generate set API stuff. See if I can find an example of what the API should look like. Alright, let's give it an example, the API, and see if it actually can work with that.
So if you are alarmed, then it suggests that the damage is not as serious as we thought. Although you've got yacht and... Alright, so silent contemplation it is. Mysterious button. Sorry. Silence. Do not speak. In the silence. Let the silence descend. Here it comes. 100% silence.
That has to be my favorite one.
Preparing to interface with the neuro... Alright, so... silent contemplation it is. Mysterious button. Sorry. Silence. Do not speak. In the silence. Let the silence descend. Here it comes. 100% silence. From now. By the way, if you come up with any ideas, do flag them up. Don't feel you've got to stay quiet because I've said absolute silence. So if you come up with an idea, mention it. But otherwise, absolute silence. Starting now. Silence.
Oh, good. There's no way this works. Let's see what fresh garbage is cooked up for us this time. Tell me a joke. Failed to pass Gemini response. Ah, it's not totally off. Did say tell me a joke. The Gemini's raw response is given a command and response text. However, we probably need to garnish that a little bit. MPV. I wonder if there's a node equivalent of MPV. Hey, looks like there is. Last published 4 years ago. Yikes. Not bad. Yeah, well, I'm sort of impressed that it was able to one-shot it. I mean, it got stuck in a few circular loops a few times, and it's created this absolutely ridiculous directory structure. Right. Yeah. We've got our repo root server then server. Server templates, server templates. Perfect. Yeah, you definitely know that you're working with a lobotomized model when you're working with the 2.5 Flash versus Pro. However, Google's decided to rate limit me on the Pro, so nuts to that. It's also completely guessed the board rate for Serial, which is wildly wrong. I'm pretty sure the Serial that I'm using is 11.5 or something. Gotta pay the Google man. Anyway, I think it might be where I leave it for tonight, man. I'm excited by this MVP thing though. MVP, what's it called? MPV. Every triple letter acronym under the sun has been used for something. That might actually be a, yeah. Might actually be a solution. Okay. Alright, man. Alright, I'm gonna call it for tonight, man. I will catch you tomorrow.